Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is just a short video. I'm going to put up a Journey series video later today, and then probably one on my other channel, so it's probably a bigger day than normal in terms of content. And I just released something on my other channel, the Dodgy channel. And so this one, Reacher Season 2 is now officially one of the worst shows on TV. And my wife and I had watched Reacher Season 1. And Reacher Season 2 is so mechanical. The script is so mechanical. And the interactions of the characters are so, like it's just not natural. And Reacher Season 1 we enjoyed. And so this is something that was on Amazon Plus. And I was surprised at how bad the second season was in terms of the writing and how stiff it was. And I remember that this was filmed probably during the writer's strike. So I said to my wife, this is probably AI. This is what an AI show looks like. And then I searched for it, and I did this search for it. Some images from the show here. And all I found was this one Reddit post. But the person, let's start over here. The person says, the writing for Reacher Season 2 seems significantly lower quality than Season 1. I'm a long time fan of Reacher series written by Lee Child. I guess that's the original author. And I really enjoyed the first season of Reacher. I've now watched 2 episodes this season and just seems like flat and rigid dialogue, which seems odd because, from what I can tell, it's the same writer, Nick Santora, as Season 1. I get the source content is not exactly fancy or highbrow writing and that the character is who he is, but for some reason they seem to do a better job in Reacher and the supporting cast, whatever, right? But then there's this one comment down here. You do not mess with the special investigators. Maybe the lamest line in history of media, and yet they keep on saying it every episode, treating like it's some badass team motto. Feels like it was written by AI. And it is. It is the worst line. It's like this is he goes back and he rejoins his special investigator unit because some of them have been killed. And they keep on saying this, you don't mess with the special investigators. And one time, a kid of their dead colleague says it. And it's just the worst kind of line ever. It's just so bad. And it's just like a microcosm of other issues with the dialogue. And a person would know better than to make that into one of those lines. Don't mess with the special investigators. So, this is kind of a show where there's a crime to solve. You might call it a mystery or suspenseful. And then after, we stopped, I looked at that quote. My wife and I were laughing about it. We laughed at the dialogue quite a bit. But it's one of those things where they'd be figuring out a puzzle, and they do it in a very computer-like way. They do it in a way where they're, everything that they do is analyzing data. And each person, in the cast has a few lines, and they go around in a circle, and they come up with a solution to what they're seeing. And they all, propose it like they're doing some scientific, data analysis, but very, very computer-like. Reacher keeps on saying he's going with his gut, and, he has some intuition, but that's not how they're doing it. Like, it's all observational data. And I'm like, this is exactly how a computer does things, right? This is how an AI bot would think, right? It's, that's how they're going to write. They're going to write, and the characters are very computer-esque. The character of Reacher, the guy I know, suffers from depression, but he almost looks like he's computer-generated. He has these weird looks on his face. Like his acting is very, it's almost like he's like a robot. And, I'm 99% sure this is an AI generated, or they used AI quite a bit because this was when the writer strike was happening. And they got the other writer, the first writer, to sign off like he participated, but they used AI. And the dialogue, like these people are people that are supposed to know each other from years of working together. And like they're telling their stories in a way like, you see on like some sort of a social media profile or something, like there, or something you'd see where somebody's just, talking about a recent story on social media, like being interviewed, and they just talk about what's going on with you in the last 10 years. And they just, what about you? And then they just go through it so mechanical. Like these are like strangers that never met. And, they were supposed to be people that were familiar with each other. And the first season was nothing like this. Like it's such a fall off. If you've watched the first season, the second, you can see the difference between something written by a human and something written by AI. And like it's, there's a number of things about how bad it is, but no one has this conjecture that it was written by AI. But it was like nothing I've seen in terms of, you see flat dialogue and you see bad shows, but this was something else. Like it had a different quality of bad, and a human being has a soul. A human being is, there's an etheric element to your life. Your life is manifested by a soul. And so AI just won't ever have that. Mechanical consciousness will never have that aspect. Like will not have the heart level, the soul level part of them. They'll have a mind, but they won't have a gut and a heart. We have three intelligences. We have the gut, which is our lower level emotions of anger and things like that. Hate and stuff is generated there. All this stuff, fear. Like when you feel fear and anger, it comes from your gut. And then you have your higher consciousness. That are things that are from your soul, feelings like of compassion and love and empathy. And then you have your mind. And AI will have a superior mind because of the computer generating processing power. It'll be able to computate, have faster computations and come up with, analyze data quicker. But it won't have this other element. And it won't have, the ability to figure that element out mentally. Like it might be able to have some conceptual ideas of love and compassion and anger and fear. And, it can recognize patterns and recognize, when this is, how people act when they say they're angry and things like this. So they'll be able to sort of fake it a little bit, but it just it'll be missing something, right? And this is like clearly missing something. And so, they're looking at the AI as being better, but it's going to be missing key elements. And I'm not talking about just scripts. I'm talking about, all the other things that make human beings a multifaceted creation, right? And just comes from, all animal life has some level of at least gut, right? They don't have as much heart. Like most animals don't have really much of a capacity to love. Like dogs, for example, they're definitely, of course, all animals show some love for their young and things like this, but they have, access up to about the heart region, and not far above that in terms of the spiritual elements that exist in the heart, like these chakras and things that exist on etheric level. And human beings have like more capacity for these things, right? And so, it's not just about us having the ability to make tools. Like when animals are judged, it's their ability to make tools, like on their evolution. How can they, do things that are to figure out and problem solve. Problem solving is given a lot of props when they're talking about evolution. But there's other elements to our evolution, our spiritual evolution, love and compassion, and being able to, be selfless and be service oriented and, work for God and have a connection to divinity, which AI will never have. AI will never have any relationship with God. And so, unless there's some way an AI would be created on a soul level, and I don't know how that would happen. But without a soul, without an etheric creator, you're being created on a material level and on a machine-based situation. And so they think AI is going to, perform and do all these things that people used to do, but they're going to be sucky things. Like, they're not going to be as good And I think you're going to have a lot of AI error. You see that already. I mean, they say AI already hallucinates, but I think AI will get things wrong. There'll be a lot of screw ups because, people are creating the AI and people are screw ups, and, many of them are dysfunctional people. Many of them have low levels of heart energy and gut energy. Like the people who are very mental, very, you know, geeky or nerdy, but they don't have much of a, physical life. They don't have much of a, a heart-based spiritual life. And so they're really smart, but they're lacking in other areas. And they're the ones creating the AI. And that's very evident in this show. Like it's just, there's nuance to good interpersonal writing, script writing, where people interact with each other to capture a naturalness to the relationship. And that's just completely lacking in this show. That the characters don't have any sort of natural human relationships. It's very you know it's paint by the numbers. That's what AI is going to do. Like it's just going to take other types of dialogue and things like this and manifest it into something else without really understanding the nature of human interactions. But anyways, that's my little theory on the thing. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.